Hey, today we're going to discuss an object in the game that's completely broken and overpowered. We'll also talk about the CEO's response to some questions, showcase some brand new Hellbot animation leaks, and address how to fix the black screen issues from the previous video. Not only that, but we'll also have a workaround for the social menu issues and so much more. If you find this video informative or helpful at any point, please tap the like button below, subscribe, and turn on notifications. First, let's talk about the CEO's response to the negativity and how Arrowhead plans to make things better. There's a player who essentially asked the developers how they plan to curb the negativity and if they could show infographic. Droid responded saying, fundamentally, the only way to do it is to make stuff people like. It's going to be different things for different people. Not every update will have everything for everyone, but over time, we go from strength to strength. Like No Man's Sky. Floundered initially, but they put their head to the grindstone and just made good update after update. Now, someone else responded to Shams telling him that No Man's Sky is a terrible comparison, and Shams' response was, yeah, I think the point for me was less talk and more action. I don't agree that the game isn't great, it's been improved a ton. I would say the game is great, but just not right now at the current moment. I'm sure if you were to ask someone 3 months ago, if you could, how they felt about it, they would tell you it's incredible, that they love everything. However, things have been different lately. My question for you all is, could Arrowhead pull off the same type of failure to success turnaround as No Man's Sky did, or are they doomed? I'd love to know your thoughts on this exactly because you all always have some awesome ideas and opinions, so let me know. After this, Shams wrote to another player essentially stating that we should keep our eyes peeled for the next balance patch. So, possibly the next update could arrive relatively soon. Is it possible the update will be this month? I think so. Based on Shams' response here, where he wrote, we want to see impactful progress in 60 days. If I ask all if you feel the game is better in October, then in August I hope the majority say yes. We won't be done then, the work will continue, but we need continuous improvement. As you can see, he talks about how he hopes that by August, a majority will say that the game has improved, but they also plan on working even harder to give us more patches and changes to the game, which is really nice to see. The only problem here is that there's more talk than action, but we'll see how things change over time. Let's dive into something you might not expect, overpowered cacti. Yeah, I bet you weren't expecting that. I'm going to show you the difference in damage when you hit them with a mech, which by the way, inflicts a lot more damage than even stepping on a mine. For example, in this first clip, you'll see that hitting the first cactus doesn't seem to do much, but if you hit another cactus just 2 more times, it completely destroys the mech. In contrast, stepping on a mine does hardly any damage. It takes about 8 mines to destroy a mech. From my testing, this seems quite odd. I don't see how a cacti can inflict so much damage that only 3 hits are needed to destroy an exosuit, while it takes 8 mines to destroy one. It seems ridiculous. Now let's talk about health depletion. Running into a cactus will completely lower your health in exactly 5 seconds, whereas running into a barbed wire takes 11 seconds. I'm not exactly sure if this is intended or just part of the game's realism. Anyway, I believe this right here should receive a slight nerf, mainly because of the mech stratagems. I feel like 3 hits from it seems a bit odd considering mines hardly do any damage. As you saw a few seconds ago, it only took 8 mines for the mech to explode. Moving along, you may not know that you can actually cause patrol spawns to disappear. Here's how it works. I'll first trigger these automatons at the fabricators to call in reinforcements. Then I'll move in one direction continuously, looking backwards. However, looking back isn't necessary for the enemies to despawn. Once you've traveled a certain distance, enemies like the Hulk, for instance, that was chasing me will no longer be visible. Now returning to the same spot, you'll see that the patrol spawn is no longer there. This mechanic can be found in many games including Cyberpunk, Far Cry, and virtually any game you can think of. Nevertheless, this is what happens when you run away and come back to the same exact spot. The technique also works on side missions. The only thing to note is if it's a location that currently has a large AT. If so, then you'll notice if you run away and come back, the AT will spawn at its exact spot. However, if an AT is spawned in from a dropship, it will disappear once you come back. Moving along, let's discuss the recent black screen issues. I touched on this in my previous video and it seems we've found a workaround. You can find the method in the Helldivers 2 official Discord, specifically in the troubleshoot channel where a player said, I'm having problems with opening Helldivers 2. Every time I open Helldivers, it opens the window, shows a black screen, and then closed. Any fixes? Then there's an automated post for this issue, And it says, first start with the following items. Update all the things. Update Windows, Microsoft Store, Library, update all. Update graphics drivers. If you're rolling back to a previous version, I would download DDU, do a clean install. I actually suggest staying 1 or 2 versions behind NVIDIA's newest 555.99 or 560.70 for NVIDIA and 24.4.1 or 24.5.1 for AMD. Update BIOS, UEFI, run all the options in Bob's Hellbomb script. You can probably ignore option B for now. Option H will check firewall and software conflicts. On option B, browse to the Helldivers2.exe, click options and select high performance and your GPU. Keep in mind there are specific issues with Intel Gen 13 and 14 chips that require their own tweaking despite the recent microcode BIOS patches, if they're already available for your motherboard. Now, if you're on PC, you will need to click on the link provided. I'll include a link in the video description that will take you directly to the specific message. Once you're there, just click the link, and you should find yourself on a GitHub site. The steps are listed, and the download can be found on the right side. Follow all these steps, and you should be able to run Helldivers 2 again. On a related note, we do have a workaround for the social menu issues as well. For instance, if you're like this user who mentioned this on the Discord, hey, new here on Discord, I'm having issues having friends join my game or joining people's games. It seems it does never load when I try to join someone, and when someone tries to join me, they time out immediately. Now, this bug has become pretty common lately. There's a way to resolve it by deleting your cache, and before we dive into that, a shout out to Toro34 over on the Helldivers 2 Discord for posting this solution. He wrote this and said, social is pretty much broken completely. It was supposed to be worked on, fixed with the August 6th update, but there are still some remaining issues. In the meantime, there are some steps you can try. Most are PC specific. On PS5, you can clear PS5 cache and delete your PSN cloud save for Helldivers 2. If social tab please wait democratically is what needs fixed. Then Toro34 went on to explain that all you have to do is go to your Helldivers 2 folder by going to app data percentage and then locating Arrowhead. You should see the folder right here on the screen, and you should have something similar if you're on PC. Now, if you are on PC, you can actually go to your Steam profile and then change your Steam profile to public. If you follow these steps exactly, it should resolve the issue because the original poster replied with, so it seems clearing cache did it. It was apparently overlapping 2 friends lists, the one I had before they fixed social and the one after that. As soon as I did this, all my Steam friends were added automatically, and I was able to join everyone. Hopefully this helps because I've read so many comments from you all, and I know some of you are currently playing solo and you're probably frustrated. If this resolves the social menu bug, please let me know by commenting down below, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up by tapping the like button below. We are now going to discuss a brand new leak. If you would like to skip ahead, the timestamps are provided in the description below. Now that you know what to expect, let's dive into this leak right here that was revealed by Iron Sights. What you can see are different animations for the Hellbot. If you've watched my previous video about this particular bot, you'll recall we were unsure at the time about its exact functions. However, we now have more information from Iron Sights, who mentions this in the comments. It looks like it will deploy into combat. I don't think it will replace the Seif troop drop, as they are currently grouped pretty differently. Right now, the Hellbot seems to be a vendor that sells rare stratagems and can deploy into combat if needed. And not only did he inform us about this, but he also included an image of a string of text that says, this Hellbot stands in for your Helldiver squad mate. So this Hellbot will essentially be a teammate until you have a full squad. I have to say, having this in the game would be amazing, and I wonder if you could have up to 3 Hellbot squad members with you. I know that Iron Sights says that this bot will be used to sell rare stratagems and can be deployed into combat, so that's pretty cool. That's different. Now, can you imagine going in with the squad full of bots? I think it's something I'd love to see. Not sure how you guys feel about it. And I'm curious about how it would affect the gameplay. Would the robots respawn after a certain amount of time? And if so, would there be a limited number of robot lives? But anywho, this is what we know so far. Hopefully in the future we'll receive this feature, but it's fair to say that this could either be a scrapped idea or that the developers are still working on it. Something else the developers are currently working on is the new orbital napalm barrage. Just a couple of days ago, I shared some footage of the napalm barrage in game, which you can't see here. thanks to Tier 5 NPC over at Helldivers 2 Discord. We also have some stats that were revealed on helldivers.io, and what you can see here on the left side, it says Orbital Napalm Barrage, and the combination is right, down, left, right, up. And towards the very right side, it says 5 bombs, 5 salvos, projectile 250, 250, AP 55550, and then we got the explosion, which is 350, 350. Fire DPS is 50 to 25, and then status burning heavy DPS is 480, and you got all the APs and, you know, the fire and all that good stuff, as you can see. So this right here, the Orbital Napalm Barrage, might be unlockable through the major order. Maybe they'll just hand it out at some point. Who knows how this is going to work, but I know right now this is something I plan on using, but who knows how effective it is against, you know, automatons. I would imagine maybe not that effective, but I will let you guys know once it's available and just go through the testing. With that aside, the community is now divided. Some actually want the bots to arrive on Super Earth because as of right now, the automatons are trying to push forward while 16,000 Helldivers are currently defending Curia. Now, not only do some want the bots to arrive, some have actually created their own faction designs. Yes, here are a few Reddit posts that I thought were incredibly well done. For example, this player created their own cape with the description that says, "Your eyes have been opened, you rejected your home and bathed in the blood of your brothers to gain freedom. Your actions will have consequences. Children of Super Earth will burn with flames of your fury and you will regret nothing." There's another player who created this, and as of right now, it has 1.5k upvotes. This player wrote, "Prepare yourself, your attempts to defend Super Earth will be violated by separatists. Don't be angry, this is not your fault." Yeah, this is going on as of right now, and can you imagine a human faction that has stolen a bunch of Super Earth intel and has built their own homeworld? That would be crazy. Sure, the automatons already did that, but they turned themselves into cyborgs, so if the devs could, I'd like to see a human faction to fight. Speaking of galactic war map, there have been some significant changes on the left side where we've liberated the entire Trigon sector, and have also completed the latest major order. Additionally, the right side is also evolving, with the gloom spreading outwards ever so slightly. It also appears that this gloom is impenetrable, and will continue to spread out too, by the way. So, right here, the success message provides some insight into what's happening, as it states, "The Helldivers successfully wiped out the remaining pocket of automaton resistance in their cut-off territory, while simultaneously holding the line against the Terminate spread. The gloom continues to spread, suffusing intergalactic space with an impenetrable cloud of Terminate spores. The spores seems to accelerate the spread of Terminates to planets in its vicinity. If not for the intrepid efforts of the Helldivers, many more of our planets would already be overrun by tyranny." I suspect we might see the Hive Lord soon, or perhaps a different type of bug that has evolved. I don't know, guys. I mean, the developers are redoing everything, right? So maybe it's a different bug that we haven't seen. So maybe we can't expect the Hive Lord anytime soon. Maybe it's just a different bug. Now, it would be interesting to see a bug that can essentially kamikaze at us. An explosive bug, I guess, you know, that can just rush us and cause damage if not taken care of immediately. Maybe they could add a timer, or maybe some sort of ticking sound to let us know when the bug is about to explode. I think that would be awesome, and it would be like a different type of bug. I think that would be something interesting to see. Next, I'd like to discuss the previous video where I talk about the laser drone. I mentioned that it was a nerf, but it turns out it's not. And to be fair, in the past, I didn't use it as much as I would like to. And I hadn't noticed until recently that the laser actually overheats. As someone who hasn't used it for quite a while, I didn't realize until after I had created the video. So what I like to do on this channel, if I make an error, I will go back, correct myself, and admit I was wrong, and I was. In the back of my mind, I thought the laser reloaded just like the other drone because my memory was poor, you know? Anyways, it's not a nerf, but I don't think it needs to overheat. Instead, it should just reload like the other drone, or like the scythe when it's overheated, right? You just toss out the ammo, and you throw in something new. Also, when I talked about the discontinued engine, many of you were wondering when the developers started development on Helldivers 2. Well, that was 2 years before the engine was discontinued. So in 2015, they began development, and by 2018, the engine was discontinued. So hopefully that answers any questions that you guys may have had in the previous video, because that is why. So yeah, There you go. With that being said, this is your Helldivers 2 news. We're now going to go over the top 3 comments. If you guys would like to be featured in the next video, all you have to do is comment down below. The first comment is by NNNNN6CCCCC, and this person said, "To the devs, I'm not playing Helldivers because I want a milsim. I want explosions and big guns, more shooting. Less running simulator, less ragdoll simulator." The second comment is by Silly Cat Enjoyer 1. Helldivers top 3 worst enemies: Automatons, Sony, and balanced devs. Mainly Alexis, the guy that nerfs stuff. And last but not least, we have Exeliso 850. The guard dog has always gone back to your back 2 CD. I don't know when this bug happened, but yeah. This right here, he's absolutely right. And I corrected myself, as you guys know. But yeah, man, if I make a mistake, which is not too often, or hardly at all, and I will go back and correct myself, as I mentioned. So thank you guys so much for commenting, and I appreciate everyone that has supported the channel. Thank you guys so much, and continue commenting down below because you might just be featured in the next one. Thank you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video.